Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi. I am your host, Robbie Fox, along with my co-host, Clem. I'm in a different basement this week. I am in a basement, but I'm over in Columbus. I'm here to see all-time low this week. Clem, you're back in the regular basement for one more day. As we record this, it's June 7th. Happy birthday, Dave Filoni. And you are on your way to Chicago tomorrow for the Dozen Live. How you feeling?
Feeling good, Robbie. I told you before we went live, AJ has been especially crazy today. We had a call home from school. We had him spitting water at people at Sienna's little art show that she had for school. So I basically would have just went to. I said I'm ready to walk through the smoke all the way to Chicago, the Canadian smoke, and just walk there, just to have like a night alone. So I'm very happy to be in the basement. This is our safe place. We're feeling good about it right now. I'm very, very happy to be here. And I'll tell you, man, you know how it is with the dozen. It's like it's a fun thing, and it's always like, it's trivia, whatever. And then you get the nerves, and we've been in the Final Four. I mean, you forget Final Four. You won the whole damn thing. We faced you in the championship, as I call it.
Yep.
Last year, we were in the Final Four. We lost to the eventual champ. We've actually lost to the eventual champs both times when I think about it. So
It's your time. I think it's your time, Clem.
it's ZD's time, man. Listen, first of all, the people that say they rig it for us can go fuck themselves. Because I didn't hear anyone say.
I might have contributed to that because I say that Jeff D'Lo stacks the deck in every which way. And
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone realizes that, like, as soon as I'm done with the dozen, I'm not going to Jeff and complaining about the matches like some people do.
There are people who do
very
that,
much, yeah. But I do like when I'm live saying that Jeff is like Vince McMahon and he's stacking the deck against everyone.
I didn't hear anyone saying, Jeff stacks the deck against ZD or Jeff helps ZD out when we were facing just absolute. We're in the main event every goddamn week, and it was like we were like our strength of schedule was number one with a bullet, and we were still just figuring ourselves out here. So it's exciting, it's nerve wracking, and I'll tell you, man, like. We have a little bit of strategy planned out. So the dozen will have happened already at this point. So hopefully I'm not like talking about it after we shit down our legs and scored like 2 points in the match. But we have two things. One, we're changing our niche. And this was something Eddie and I had kind of discussed a little. And then Dave was the one really hammering it home. So the big boys, the snacks kind of would put us on the map here. It gets a lot of love from the people. And, there's very few things that Dave loves, but the stuff he loves, you always just want to hear that Portnoy laugh and whatever. And he loves when the big boys can instantly get the snack thing. The thing is, there's just so many goddamn snacks. And we're not talking snacks that are out today. We're talking snacks that were out 20 years ago, discontinued, brought back, varieties, all this kind of stuff. So we said we have to kind of mix it up because we had Cheetos twists and it was twisted puffs. Like there's just too many varieties and too many things. So we said, what we're going to do? We're going to go the old Brandon Walker method. It's his show, right? That's what I always hear. It's his show. Guy basically memorized a like 90-minute movie and that thing you do. So we're going to do the same. And we had to do one that kind of hit all three of us. So we had a couple of movies we threw around and there wasn't, believe it or not, one that we could get. So I said, what about King of Kong? And Dave says, I'm down for King of Kong. So we are using King of Kong as our niche. It's like going with a new quarterback as you're going into the playoffs, right? It's kind of crazy and not even that, like the AFC championship game. And it's like, all right, we're going with Brady instead of this Bledsoe kid. And we'll see how it works out. I have no clue how it's going to go. We're worried. Like it's one of those things where what the niche is. You want to be able to get it, and you kind of don't want the other team to be able to get it. And I think Brandon and Big Cat, who are two potential, if we make it to the finals, potentially Big Cat. I think Rico knows some King of Kong if Minahan were to go to the finals. But it's like, hey, get your niche. You don't have to worry about it. So we're changing up the niche. And
that's big, though. That's like old school Barstool as well. Like for your team especially, like three guys that have been – Dave – the Barstool guy, and then you and Eddie, two guys that have been here forever. Like, I like that you're doing a very nostalgic movie for Barstool fans. Billy Mitchell is an all-time legend, as everyone knows. If you're listening to The Basement, you should have seen King of Kong and know the legend of Billy Mitchell, the all-time video game heel.
And if you don't know it, you have homework. You have to go online and you have to watch King of Kong. I blogged about it probably like 3, 4, 5 times in my life. And every single time, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it right now. I believe it's free. You go on YouTube. It's free here. Hour 22, not a long watch. And it's I'm telling you, the unintentional comedy in this is pure rock solid gold, crusted with diamonds, platinum on top, whatever you want to say. It's crazy. Let me tell you how crazy this fucking movie is. Zach Campbell, aka Foul Ball Guy, is like in the background of one scene, and it's not even like a mention. He's like probably the 50th weirdest person in this movie, just to let you know. And just based off of everything you know about Foul Ball Guy, he's still 50th. It's an absolute fucking treasure trove of comedy. And I was into King of Kong before I had ever even I really got into Barstool. Like I just loved it. Then I would hear Dave and Big Cat always talk about it. I'm like, oh shit, these guys are into it too. So we're switching up the niche, and we're already kind of like trying to plan out our game. We have the experts first, and the biggest thing with the experts, as you know, because you kind of have one of these glitches on your team, you have to be ready for that second round potential 3-point swing. Fran's going to double the celebrity mashup. She's going to get the celebrity mashup. All right, we're down 2-0 right now in our heads. We cannot go down 3-0. So I have to figure out a way to get to 2-1. My boy Sam Lauderdale will be there. He's a basement boy as well. So nice. I'm hoping I can call on Sam. Sometimes we get the celebrity mashup. It's not our best category, but so we're already kind of thinking that. So niches, this, and the biggest thing with the ZD, and I think just the teams in general, you have to know how to use your lifelines. That is more important than almost anything else in the game. Every game we've lost, we've messed up one lifeline, and it's the reason we lost when we look back at it. Even the Arizona Bowl that we lost to this experts team. So the fact I just spent about 8 minutes talking about a trivia contest, Bob, a little nervous, a little excited, and should be a lot of fun, though.
I'm excited for you. I'm rooting for ZD. Obviously, the basement boys got to stick together. The Honkers, when we got eliminated, we misused a lifeline. We should have used a lifeline to call for Red Notice, that horrible rock movie that I didn't remember the title of. Instead, we used it for college football. And Jack Mack got that question right. But, if he would have gotten it wrong, I don't think the other team would have got it, where they did get Red Notice. It's a whole convoluted thing. I'm sure people are tired of us talking about the dozen already, especially being when this comes out, the dozen will have already happened. So you will have seen if Clem, Dave, and Eddie succeeded with their video game King of Kong niche. You will have seen if they made it to the championship and won the championship. Fingers crossed that they'll be watching this back as a historic tape of what the mindset of a champion is like. We do have kind of a random show today too.
The first thing I do when I go to that hotel is I'm drawing the blinds because I, again, get to wake up without the kids that morning. I'm flying in at noon. I'm flying out at noon. So it's like at least I get the night alone. So I apologize, Bob. But we got a good lineup here.
We do. We have some news. We don't have like a movie to talk about. The Flash is next week. Across the SpiderVerse was last week. So we're in a middle in-between spot. But SpiderVerse is just as big a success and as big a hit and as big a beloved film that we thought it would be. Made upwards of 130 million opening weekend. It's the biggest opening weekend in 2023 for an American movie. Highest rated movie ever on Letterboxd, which is a big famous movie like ranking site. I'm not on it. People always ask me if I'm on it. I'm not. I might one day. I don't like that you have to do 5 stars though. I like being able to do 1 through 10 as well. That's what's holding me back from Letterboxd.
That's
right
it.
Now. Highest rated superhero movie ever on IMDb. An A on Cinema Score, 95 and 96 from critics and fans on Rotten Tomatoes. We've been both kind of tweeting a lot of random information about this movie that's come out over the week. Yep. You tweeted one today that I loved. It took 4 years to complete the scene in the movie where all the spider people are chasing Miles Morales out of the Spider Society HQ. 4 years. We knew it took like 5 years for the movie to get made. But the fact that scene in particular wasn't done for 4 years is crazy. I mean, there's the piece of information that the Lego part was animated by a 14-year-old kid who just happened to recreate the Across the Spider-Verse trailer in Lego. And they said, fuck it. Why don't we make you part of the movie and give you this little animation credit? Imagine him going off to college and putting on his resume, worked on Across the Spider-Verse as a 14-year-old. There's so much about this movie that's so cool to dive into on Twitter. I would recommend everyone just clicking on the hashtag Across the Spider-Verse, because you could read for hours and go down a rabbit hole Spider-Verse sized about this movie.
Yeah, it's just as good as we said. I mean, it's even better. I will say, I feel like a lot of these reviews and stuff, I think it almost like it gets the benefit of being a cartoon where it's like, You can't tell me it's better than Endgame. You can't tell me it's better than Infinity War. You can't tell me it's better than Dark Knight. And I love this movie. We don't even have it better than Welcome to the, whatever the, into the Spider-Verse.
Welcome to the Spider-Verse. That's the prequel.
But there's so, and like the thing is, there's just so much good shit going on still, like all the Easter eggs. Did you see the here, I'll see if I can share it on the screen for the all the people on the YouTube here. It's I think it's bullshit as it ends up being, but like it could be true. Is they're saying that the little Spider-Man pop is one of the things chasing Miles Morales in the spider chase scene. And if you look at it, you're like, oh, and I was like, is this fucking true? And then basically everyone debunks it. But it has gotten to the point where I wouldn't be shocked if it was true, right?
No, that's a fact. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by Spider-Pig, as we said last week. Like, if you told me Spider-Pig from The Simpsons is somewhere in the background, I'd be like, I believe it. I can't wait for this movie to come out on digital, Blu-ray, whatever, to where we'll have high-quality versions and be able to slow everything down. You did go see it again with the kids. How was the second viewing? Did you think it was better on the second watch?
It was much better. It was because
wow.
Yeah, dude, I don't know if my brain is just breaking down. Every time I watch a movie, I'm like, I didn't catch like any of this shit the first time. And I think a lot of people complained about the Gwen monologue in the beginning being just too loud and scatterbrained. And I was able to kind of keep up with it a little bit more. But there's just a lot of things that setting stuff up, and then a lot of oh, that comes back. It was much better the second time around. And that's not always the case for me. I remember I watched Love and Thunder and I was like, that movie was goddamn silly as fuck. I don't know how I liked it as much as I did the first time. So that isn't always the case. I feel like I did like this and Guardians more the second time, Guardians 3, that is. So I definitely recommend checking it out if you can like use your kid as an excuse, or you just want to go and have another time at the movies. I don't know when it's going to come out on streaming, like you said, so you might as well just go out and have a good old time. There's a lot of shit you can pick up on, and then read the Easter egg things, and then go to the movies and be like, oh, let me see this shit for myself.
Our guy Heavy Spoilers, he's been crushing it with his Across the Spider-Verse content, new rock stars. There's so much emergency awesome. Tons of crazy information about the movie, as I said, and a bunch of fun cast interviews from Haley Steinfeld talking about having to put contacts in for Hawkeye to make her eyes blue. I didn't even know that was a thing. To Daniel Kaluuya and the star Miles Morales. I'm afraid I don't know his name, but he's so awesome as Miles. He did like an autocomplete with Haley Steinfeld that was so funny. In one of Oscar Isaac's interviews, he said he wants Pedro Pascal to be in Beyond the Spider-Verse. He said, I want him to be like a grumpy old spider person. And I liked that. I just picture him as Spider Joel from The Last of Us. Just like
Spider Joel.
Pissed about having to take some kid along or whatever. And then Daniel Kaluuya did an interview, Spider-Punk, and said that he'd like to see Snoop Dogg in the next Beyond the Spider-Verse. So I thought this would be a fun little activity here. Who would you make a spider person in Beyond the Spider-Verse if you could cast someone as a voice actor to be a spider person?
Oh, man, that's a great question, Bob. That's a great question. Like, I'm thinking of all the big voices, like, because you think Snoop, so I'm thinking like a Morgan Freeman, and you're just, you pointed to Michael Caine, anyone like that. I kind of want to just throw Chris Pratt in there too, just because my kids watched the Lego movie the other day. Like, oh yeah, Chris Pratt was in that. I'm like, oh, he was in Mario, and I'm like, I feel like Chris Pratt, he's gonna be Garfield too. He's gonna be Garfield too. Jesus,
yeah,
that guy.
He's just every animated voice.
He's just every.
What if they make the Chris Pratt Spider-Verse, where there's like a Mario Spider-Man and a Garfield Spider-Man and a Lego Spider-Man, and Chris Pratt could do them all?
I like it. You know who I'm going to say? My guy who's in the paint, the poster behind me, can't see it. My guy, Bruce Willis. Throw Bruce Willis in there. I know he's retired from acting for obvious reasons, but I mean, an animated movie, he can get
you could AI it too.
Yeah, it's just a quick one. And, Spider-Man, he has no shoes on. He has no socks on. He's a bloody wife beater on. And it's like just trying to make things work in a tower in LA.
I have a couple picks myself. It's funny that you said Michael Caine because he was one of the names I wrote down. Just that's a classic voice. As a grumpy old Spider-Man, I think Harrison Ford or Liam Neeson would be very, very funny. As a badass Spider-Woman, Miley Cyrus. I'm a big fan of Miley Cyrus's voice. She's got that raspy kind of Stevie Nicks thing going on. I love Parks and Rec, so I just threw Amy Poehler's name in the mix as a Spider Leslie Knope. And then my favorite one, I've requested this for years. A Spider-Man who's Mary Jane is just weed. Give me Shane Gillis.
Yes, I like that. Actually, you know what? Throw Portnoy in there too. I feel like Portnoy's voice
Oh, he would be funny. A Boston Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Give me that popcorn.
That popcorn. That would be great. And throw Josh Brolin in there. I'd love to hear Thanos' voice as Spider-Man just to like make my brain like hemorrhage a little bit. Like, what the fuck? This is two very separate things coming together.
I can't hear his voice in anything without just seeing Thanos now. It's just I hear Brolin, I'm like, oh, it's inevitable.
Yeah, you get like the chills. I hear like his entrance to Wakanda in my head whenever I see them. The bah, bah, bah.
So fucking good. The Flash reviews have hit Rotten Tomatoes. A lot more people have seen The Flash. After CinemaCon, we heard this is one of the best superhero movies ever made. Tom Cruise saw it, and he's like, this is exactly what filmmaking should be. We heard from DC, this movie's so good, you're going to forget everything Ezra Miller ever did. So we're thinking this is going to be something unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's going to be a mind blower. It's going to blow the doors off, and DC is going to be set on the right path. After 90 submissions, it's at 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot lower than I think a lot of us anticipated it being. And I've seen a lot of critics and people that have seen the movie and Across the Spider-Verse say The Flash is going to suffer a lot from being a little bit too similar to Across the Spider-Verse. And it's something that they couldn't help. It's a sister movie type thing, two multiversal superhero movies where it's like parents are in danger, and should you go back and change the multiverse to save your parents? Both of those movies are the same thing. I'm still very excited for The Flash, to be honest. The Michael Keaton Batman stuff, as we say every time we talk about this movie, is the big drawing factor for me, but it does temper expectations. It does make you lower your expectations going into The Flash and saying, maybe this isn't going to be The Dark Knight. Maybe it's going to be the next best thing, hopefully.
I hate to do it, but I got to bring up my Stephen A. voice right here. Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad. This is worrisome right here, man. Like I just looked at the latest numbers here. We're at 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. And again, the critics, most of the time I disagree with them. It almost is a good thing, though, that it's now really is tempering the expectations, because we heard, like you said, so good, it makes you forget our superhero was a supervillain for like a year straight. I'm going to go in with an open mind, though. I'm going to do my best. I am not going to hold the sins of being similar to the Spider-Verse. I am going to say, would it have killed you to try to beat out the Spider-Verse if you knew that might be the case? Come on, DC.
Get your movie out first. This movie's been done for how fucking long, DC? I think they were just holding it because they were like, we want people to forget about Ezra Miller. So we'll hold it for as long as we need to until people forget. And he's not part of the press tour at all. They said they don't want the focus to be on him. They want the focus to be on the movie. So it's just been the director, Anthony Muschietti, and the actress that's playing Supergirl in this. And I think Michael Keaton went and did a screening in London or something. But the director, Andy Muschietti, is tapped to direct Batman, the Brave and the Bold for James Gunn's DCU. Now, I've heard The Flash does not set up James Gunn's DCU. Initially, we thought maybe this is going to fix things and make sure it sets us along that line. I've heard that's not the case for The Flash, and that it's kind of its own thing. And there's apparently a Flash sequel script that's done, The Flash 2, and they do not want to recast Ezra. They said they have no interest in recasting him. And after you see his performance in this movie, you'll realize there's no one else that could play the Flash. That already, it worries me, but it doesn't at the same time, because it worries me being like, I don't think we should stick around with Ezra Miller just in the DC universe at all. It doesn't worry me in that I'm like, there's no fucking way the Flash 2 gets made. Just in general, unless this makes $1 billion instantly. Like, the Flash took 20 years to get made, and it was this train wreck of a marketing, budget, whatever. I don't think the Flash 2 is getting made.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like, Ezra, what could have been, buddy? It's just not going to happen. But hey, just shitty circumstances of mostly you're doing here. Again, like, give it, like, release it 2 months from now in August when we kind of forget about the Spider-Verse, but it's going to be in the same theater at the same time. Well, not literally the same theater, but the same set of theaters at the same time. God damn it. You guys are just killing me here. But like you said, I think at this point, just like clean breaks for DC. It's
Yeah.
if you have to break some Gregs to make a Tomlet, if you have to break some Ezra's to make a fucking cinematic universe that is a complete dog shit and doesn't make sense at basically every turn, like the Flash 2 being the sacrificial lamb, I won't lose any sleep at night about it. But I mean, we'll see here, man. I mean, that is some wild talk. That it's like so good. We already have the script out. We want Ezra Miller. He must be it. Like, dude, it's the fucking Flash. You're telling me there can only be one Flash? There's 8 billion people in the world, Bob? Is that where we're at right now?
His face is like half covered in the mask anyway. I get that he has to be Barry Allen on the side, but come on, man. There's better people out there. Even if there's not better actors out there, you don't need to be fucking Humphrey Bogart to be in the Flash. Like there's better people out there.
I think Robbie's throwing his hat in the ring right now. Throw the hat in the ring, Bob.
I could be the Flash.
You could be the Flash. I can see that.
I would tear a hamstring immediately. Like the first. Oh, look at that. See that?
You do it pretty good.
Watching on YouTube, I could do a Flash run.
You do the Flash run pretty well.
And you know what could fuel me up if I were to get cast in a DC movie and I have to put on a superhero body? That's HelloFresh. This summer, HelloFresh is here to take care of working out and eating well. Reach your goals with delicious calorie smart and protein smart lunch and dinner options, plus new vegan recipes as well. Get farm to table quality with every HelloFresh box. HelloFresh's seasonal ingredients are picked at peak ripeness and travel from the farm to your doorstep in less than 7 days for fresh flavor in every bite. This summer, spend less time meal planning and prepping with HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients that make it easy to get cooking quick. No matter what your lifestyle is, even if you're vegan or vegetarian after seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and you say, nope, no more animal cruelty, I'm not eating animals anymore, you can get that with them. Pescatarian, veggie, vegan, swap proteins, swap sides. You could make it personalized for your taste, your taste buds, your meal plan.
Eat ziti. Just eat nothing but ziti to celebrate our dozen win.
There you go. Go to HelloFresh.com/Fox16 and use the same code Fox16, FOX16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Fox16 and use code Fox16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. And speaking of things getting delayed in the first place, I think everything's getting delayed because of the writer's strike. That's still going on. A weekly writer's strike update still happening.
Fucking Matt Fitzgerald, get off your ass, bro, and fix the goddamn writer's strike. What's going on here, man? Come on.
I'm worried about Thrones, though, because I saw House of the Dragon, I think, is starting to shoot in Scotland next week. And I'm like, is that different overseas? Is it? I don't know, but the writer's strike's going on, and they're about to shoot. Did you also see the Kit Harington quote about Arya killing the Night King?
I saw that. What was the exact line again?
He said when he read the script, he was pissed. He was like, I would have bet thousands of dollars that I was the one to kill the Night King every time. And when I read that, it was Arya. I was upset about that. And understandably so. I don't think he had to be the person to kill the Night King. I think they could have handled the Night King way better, obviously. Mm-hmm. I don't think it had to be Jon Snow. It probably would have been best if it was Jon Snow, though.
Yeah. So I think I did the rewatch right before it. When you rewatch it, it's like it's leading up to the inevitable Jon Snow versus the Night King. And I guess you're like, oh, they kind of threw a twist in there. No, it really makes everything else, just like basically the whole other season, made all the other seasons feel completely fucking irrelevant and all the buildup. And listen, I fucking like Arya. I would have had no problem with Arya killing the Night King if like they weren't making the Jon Snow versus Night King matchup. The fucking guy was just hiding behind Dragonfire. He's like, oh, don't burn me, Dragon. And he was just sitting there the whole entire time as the Night King just ransacked fucking Winterfell. So I'm getting some feelings coming up right now about Game of Thrones. I have to like pump the brakes here. But like you said, I didn't even think of this writer's strike thing. And now I'm thinking, oh, what's the worst that can happen if the people in charge of the Game of Thrones series have to do it without the actual writer, in this case, George R. R. Martin? The entire season we just talked about is what happened, and it was a fucking train wreck. They like forget about crashing the landing. We would be like crashing during this. We're still ascending. We're still ascending. Yeah. We're going. We're not even. The seatbelt sign is still on for House of the Dragon, and I don't fucking feel safe about them getting above the clouds right now. Do you?
No, and everyone told us when we were recapping the first season, like, this season's just a prologue to the real shit. So now we're getting into the real shit, and now it's like, oh, what are we going to do here? So, yeah, that worries me. It definitely makes me a little fearful. And it's also like we came out of COVID, and everything was delayed production-wise because of COVID. and we were finally starting to catch up, and Hollywood was starting to feel like Hollywood again. Blockbusters, big box office movies, people going back to the movies, and now everything's going to get delayed again and jammed up. And what the fuck? Figure it out, California, Hollywood.
I have people wearing masks right now. I mean, granted, it's because of the fires. I feel like it's 2020 all over again. I'm not going back, Bob. I'm not going back. I'm fucking ending it all. I'm not doing another fucking pandemic light here or whatever the hell is going on. I could see them. I mean, I'll try not to spoil anything. We just did spoil Game of Thrones with people. Like in the big moment that happens, right, where it's like, oh fuck, that's gonna be a problem. And then like we start season 2, we're like, oh yeah, we forgot that even happened, because that's basically remember when they were like, Daenerys forgot that like the Iron Fleet was outside or whatever.
Yeah,
she forgot. What are you guys talking about?
While she was drinking her Starbucks, yeah,
exactly. Oh no, this is very bad. This is very bad. I'm Stephen A. Clem right now. Fuck.
Better news, or at least this. I don't know if this is like good news. It's just news. Captain America 4 has a new title. They've renamed Captain America 4. The original title or the subtitle was Captain America: New World Order for Life. The NWO. That's what it made me think of. Now it'll be subtitled Brave New World. Sounds very similar. Obviously, world is still in it. Sounds very optimistic in a nice Captain America way. And it was accompanied by a pretty cool picture of Anthony Mackie in the Captain America suit, like shaking hands or talking to Harrison Ford, who will be playing Everett Ross in this movie, President Ross in this movie. And he said something like, when Harrison Ford gives you advice on how to kick ass, you listen, or something like that. So it was cool to see those two back and forth. I loved the Harrison Ford Esquire profile from this week, especially the quote where he said he constantly gets asked who would win in a fight, Indiana Jones or Han Solo. He's like, don't ask me that stupid shit. I don't want to answer that fucking phony crap.
Oh, I love when grandpa goes full grandpa mode on people. It's like those fucking movies lined your pockets with pure gold and are the reason you have everything in your life. But hey, fuck them. Like, don't give the nerds any happiness here. Don't answer the question. I guarantee he's killed someone over the who shot first with Greedo. I guarantee there's a body somewhere on this planet that Harrison Ford laid to waste. So I think this is a good thing. I thought New World Order was a bad idea. Because listen, the NWO is a fucking big thing for a lot of comic people, because the comic book and wrestling Venn diagrams, they overlap a lot. Look at the two idiots right now talking in front of microphones, right? Brave New World is kind of fucking lame. So I wish we could come up with something different. I don't know, like, you know, when you like the doesn't, you just have like an answer in your head or a word in your head and you can't get off of it.
Yeah,
like, that's what
that world for them.
Yeah, it's new. It was new in world, right?
Oh yeah, Brave New World, New World Order. Yeah, wow.
They replaced
Goes even further than I realized.
Oh,
yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. So if that,
it's very like Captain America. You know, it's very Superman, Captain America, white meat, baby face, eat your vitamins and say your prayers.
Yep. And I don't know if that's what they want to portray. New World Order, I will say, like the NWO, kind of a little gritty. So I'm like, oh, like this is the new Captain America. He's going to be a little grittier. The world's a little grittier. And now I'm just like, Brave New World. Like, it is kind of corny. Like, I'm expecting your boy Chris Evans to come out and just be like,
oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Like that. Come back from the moon.
Did you hear how Robbie's voice just softened? Oh, that'd be nice. I swear to God, Rob, if he's not on the moon, I'm done with the MCU, because I've made it part of my canon at this point.
Yeah. Something I found out in the Harrison Ford profile that I wanted to bring to your attention. I didn't tell you this until we started recording, because I wanted to get your real reaction to this. We know he loves flying. He loves flying his planes. He loves crashing his planes. He crashes all the time. He knows how to fly. He does not know how to land. I found out that one of the things he is most passionate about in life is he has a foundation where, for decades, I don't know if he still does it, but for decades, he would take kids up on flights to show them like the beauty of being a pilot and air travel. This is the last guy I would let fly my kids in a mini puddle jumper. Are you kidding me?
This is the easiest way to like find out if someone's parents don't read the news. It's like, oh,
for real.
Harrison offered to take us up on a plane right here. Unless he's like, listen, I can't ask the pilots to land the plane or else I'll lose my pilot's license. I'm sure it's like frowned upon. So the kids probably land the plane instead of him.
He's like, you played video games, right? You know how to do this shit.
Do you think Francis ever got asked? Isn't Francis like family friends with Harrison Ford or something like that? Like,
Yeah, he had a blog about it. He like met the King of Jordan, went to lunch with him, and Harrison Ford happened to be there, and they hit it off or something. It's crazy. He's got a picture with him and everything.
I remember he was doing that. I think he was like ribbing you a little with it too. I was like, oh,
Oh
my
yeah.
poor guy Rob was hurting with that one. Oh, that is rich. I when I was doing the Game of Thrones analogy with landing planes and crashing, I should have just made a Harrison Ford analogy the whole time. I was staring right in the face. Oh, that's a great story though. Kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make the joke I was going to make. There's another person who was a big pop star in the 90s. I think I'd rather have him be with Harrison Ford more than him, but that's probably the only famous person in the world that would be that case for.
Keeping on the Marvel trend, this isn't even a news item. This is just a reminder. Secret Invasion comes out in 2 weeks, June 21st. And my little note here, Marvel seemingly keeping it a secret, because have we heard anything about this since the initial trailer?
I saw this on Reddit today. It said, by the way, does everyone realize that Secret Wars is still coming out?
That's where I got it. Yeah.
Yep. And
I didn't realize.
This is the third time he's back. Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad. Like Disney Plus is probably just taking so many hits with like the streaming shit. And I saw there's someone where they're writing off $1 billion. I don't even know what any of those words mean. I don't know if it's even a good thing or a bad thing for them.
I don't know what that means either. I saw someone posted the Seinfeld clip where they're like, "What's a write-off?" It's like they don't even know, but they're writing it off.
Exactly. I don't feel good about it because I like kind of with the Flash. Well, with the Flash, it was like you said they were having screeners for people, even though the movie wasn't done. They were doing it just a ton of pub for it, saying, "Listen, we know this movie's gonna fucking rule." When you go straight like silence mode, it's kind of like, "Oh yeah, that's coming out." Don't really worry about that. It's kind of that's just gonna set up some other stuff in the future. That's what it feels like to me right now, and I'm fucking terrified of it.
But also, we kind of had those vibes for Andor. I'll be honest. Right before Andor came out, there wasn't a ton of hype for that. And it even started a little slow. But once we got into the mix, we were like, oh, this is the shit. So fingers crossed, Secret Invasion is a little more Andor than, some of the shows that we didn't enjoy as much.
That's a fair point. And I was going to say Star Wars at that point, they did have Mando, but I feel like there was like some losses that Star Wars has taken. So they're like, we have to be a little reserved with this and buttoned up. But Marvel's had losses too. It's not like after Ant-Man, they might be like, yeah, like let's like we knew Guardians was gonna be a banger. That's what James Gunn does. But maybe after Ant-Man, some of the shows that came out last year, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, like Samuel L. Jackson was like, you motherfuckers. Samuel L. Jackson Spider-Man would be good too, right?
Oh, he'd be great.
Cursing, it's just
yeah. Another premiere date got announced. Ahsoka, we finally have a date on when Ahsoka will come out. August 23rd on Disney Plus. Around the time that we were told late summer, early fall. They cut up a new trailer, but it's not really a new trailer. It's all footage that we've seen from the old trailers. Would have liked to see something new, but I'm sure we'll get one more teaser before the show comes out. And it's one of those shows that you don't really have to sell me on. I'm there for Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'm there for Ahsoka. You guys, I mean, Ahsoka, and then what's the droid that I'm gonna love?
Chopper. You're gonna love Chopper, voiced by Dave Filoni. Happy birthday, Dave Filoni, the true heir to the Empire.
I also got a shout out. I had never gotten a welcome instead of May the 4th be with you and Revenge of the 5th. We got a happy Order 66 day. I've never gotten that before. I kind of fucking liked it. It was kind of like
I liked it too. It reminded me of Revenge of the Sith. It got the juices flowing. Like you say, whenever you get reminded of Order 66, you got to go on YouTube and watch all the scenes. I kind of felt that way when I saw that tweet. I was like, that's nice.
Yeah, it felt good. It's a sick and twisted thing, but I mean, definitely the best part of. Do I say it's the best part of the prequels? Is that a little dark? But it's like
it's up there though. That's not like a crazy controversial thing to say, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like I'm not happy that like all the Jedi died and these younglings got slaughtered, but it kind of is like, oh, that's an oh fuck moment, right? There's not really a lot of I don't feel anything for basically 99% of the prequels. I felt something during that. And the fact that they're still flashing back in like Mando and stuff lets you know it's good.
There was a lot of controversy over how many Jedi survived Order 66 this week. I don't know if you caught any of that because it was
I caught a
like Star Wars nerd Twitter thing, but apparently there were about 10,000 Jedi, I think, when they were like at their peak or whatever. And after Order 66, less than 100 exist. And in George Lucas's mind, he said after Return of the Jedi, there were somewhere from 50 to 100. And people thought that was like way too much. I didn't take any issue with that. I was kind of like, all right, I get that when people saw the original trilogy, they thought Luke was the last one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like growing up, having the prequels, having the Clone Wars when I was, even still growing up, like part of me it makes it easier for me to accept that Luke wasn't my only one, but 50 to 100 out of 10,000. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think they killed every last one. I don't know. I was fine with that.
Yeah, no, I've come to grips with it, and I don't like. They're not practicing anymore. I guess that's the word I use. They're in hiding. The outer rim. They're hiding. They probably all a lot of them probably just died out one way or another.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone else was going to come.
A lot of them probably went like Yoda and never had a Luke to come visit them. You know, like they were just chilling on a Dagobah-like planet, and then they died of old age.
It's like when a Mormon gets to actually go out and like live, like they get to like put the values behind, or Breaking. No, is it Breaking Amish? I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, that's a show for sure.
That was a thing. Yeah, and then they go out. It's like and especially a strict place like the Jedi. They're always very much. Which again, we are. I think we're in the gray area together with the Jedi. They were a little too rigid.
Yeah.
The Sith are obviously pure evil. I think that, guys like Mace Windu was a problem. This shit all fell apart the way it did. And people like Anakin went the way they did. But like some of these guys, man, they've just been fucked for years, fucked over by the Jedi Council. You go out, you can move shit with your mind. You can make people's thoughts change. You can do some crazy shit. There's a story to be told for the breaking fucking Amish of the Jedi. Let's get crazy here. They're fucking, I'm not saying we have to like mainline heroin or anything, but I want to see these guys get crazy, do some fuck up things by changing people's minds. Nothing problematic. We're not looking to cancel. It is 2023 after all. But hey, let's have some fucking fun with these Jedi, man. There's 50 or 100 of them out there. And like other than fucking old Obi-Wan, who was just sitting around like a creepy old man in his fucking cave watching like a 10-year-old boy from a distance, I think like we can have some fun with this. Like that doesn't, I'm not saying it has to be a movie, not saying it has to be like a full-blown series, but give us a
Disney Plus special,
Star Wars
45-minute Marvel type thing. Yeah.
Yes. Like, hey, listen, Filoni, I know you listen to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andor, some of the best part about Andor was a little more mature stuff. There's a market for it. We're all grown-ups here. Let's have some fun with it. Let's see what happened to the Jedi that, they broke bad. They got a little crazy.
You sound like Christopher Lloyd in The Mandalorian when he's like, Count Dooku had a lot of good ideas, okay? He wasn't crazy. The
guy had a big red button on his desk. I'll never get over that. Like,
do not press printed above it.
Oh my
All
God.
robots turn into bad guys if you press.
Breaking Sith. No, it wouldn't be Breaking Sith because that's a little dark.
Oh, but that's a better title.
It is Breaking that's Dark.
Yeah, Breaking Jedi is kind of cool.
Breaking Jedi could work too.
Breaking the Force, something like that.
It could even
breaking the balance. How about that?
Breaking the balance. Yep. It could even be a cartoon if you don't want to have live actors, as we saw with SpiderVerse. You can make adult things happen with like cartoons. So let's get this done, Filoni. You have a viewer in me. I'm pretty sure Disney's like cutting everything off because again, they're what are they doing again? What are they doing with the books?
They're writing it off.
They're writing it off. So that maybe that opens up more.
They wrote it off. Yeah. Crazy. And they fired the person or laid off the person who saved Toy Story 2 on their computer. When Toy Story 2 is 90% completed, it got deleted off the computers at Pixar. One person had it saved on their computer at home, the all-time backup save, and they let that person go. I don't care if she was doing nothing for the last 20 years. That should earn you a paycheck for life. I'm not saying a job. You shouldn't make her come into the office. You should just send her money for life.
Yeah, so I saw that news and I was reading all the replies and it was a lot of like, what have you done for me lately? And people were like, lately, that was 25 years ago, dude. We're on like Toy Story 5's coming out and they had like a huge gap between a bunch of them. And I'm with you, Robbie. Like you saved that. And I think she was on like maternity leave or she was pregnant. So she was out of the office and that's why it didn't get deleted. Like, congratulations, you won the win for life ticket. Like basically, you have the job, you're getting the perks, you're getting the benefits, the pension, whatever it may be, but you don't you're not going to get more raises. You don't have to show up for your performance review anymore, but you're not going off the books like that. It's like having the Disney last name. I think that kind of gets you like somewhere in the fucking org chart, no matter what it may be. So that I'm with you, man. That broke my heart. I didn't like seeing that.
I hated seeing that. And then one final thing for this podcast. It's a new segment that I'd like to introduce to this show. And it's kind of a segment that we've always ran with on this show, but I want to name it officially. So this is a new segment we call James Cameron Will Hammer Him. And we're just going to highlight the worst stories about James Cameron.
Yes.
This one coming from our guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Governator, the Terminator. He says that back on the Terminator, the first one, he suggested they change the iconic line, "I'll be back," to "I will be back," because it sounded more machine-like. And he just went up to James Cameron and said, "What do you think about this? Is maybe more like a machine?" James Cameron's response was, "Are you the writer? Don't tell me how to fucking write." Come on. I mean, that was a decent suggestion. Obviously, "I'll be back" is the right move. You made the right call with "I'll be back." Iconic. That's an okay suggestion for Arnie to make. "I will be back" as a machine. He's thinking about his character. He's thinking about the role. James Cameron, you don't got to be such a dick.
What an asshole, man. And Arnie, too, like just happy old Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, look, we have like a quote unquote tough boss, right? But you know what,
Yeah.
Dave, he'll always listen in and be like, "Get the fuck out of here. What the fuck's your fucking problem?"
Yeah.
Like, he'd always just be like, "No, you're crazy. You're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm right." And I'd be like, "Yeah, Dave, you built this whole company for nothing. You are right." Man, what a fucking dick. But you know what? Avatar, I saw Avatar Way of Water or whatever is on Disney Plus. Can't wait for that to collect some dust. I will never ever watch that movie in my fucking
You could take that off. Write that off.
Yeah, right.
Take that off Disney Plus. Nobody's looking to watch that. Yeah.
Hey, Disney, you're looking to save movies? Just cancel like the next 7 fucking Space Pocahontas movies you have greenlit for this fucking bozo bum that can't even just be civil with Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger, who, by the way, fucking was a hit in Terminator, hit in True Lies, probably another fucking James Cameron movie I'm not thinking of. What a goddamn bozo. What is this? Hammer and Cameron? I love it, Bob. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. Hammer and Cameron, James Cameron will hammer him. Someone needs to come up with a theme song. I would love that. A theme song for this segment. Like, James Cameron will hammer him. Something like that. I would love that. And send in your own James Cameron stories. Yeah. If you've got bad James Cameron stories, send them in and we'll do a segment on it.
Yeah. Even if they're not real. Like my dad, painted his house and he was just really uppity.
Even better. Yeah. Make them up. We'll say allegedly beforehand and we'll get out of the lawsuits via that. All right. That was the podcast for this week. I'm sending our sweet Clem off to Chicago with the best of vibes. May the force be with you, Eddie, and Dave. Hopefully bringing another title down to the basement.
Hell yeah. Hopefully we make it there because the smoke is still not leaving. And I heard they were grounding flights and there's no fucking way I'm taking a caravan with all the other fucking misfits at Barstool to Chicago. I'll just wave the white flag and be like, "We'll get you guys next year."
Well, we'll see you next week and we'll be talking about The Flash next week. So come back and find out if it was worth the hype or not.